Next to girls and watermelon off-road racing's third.
Fun, excitement, radical people, racing.
It's fun to watch. Get some rollovers. It's the best sport.
You never know what's going to happen. That's the main thing, I think.
They fly across the tracks here, and you gotta be tough to hold together.
The speed, the excitement.
They're faster. They're hotter. You got your trucks. You got your single seat unlimited. You got your 2-seat unlimited. You got your little guys in your limited horsepower cars.
Running it, you know, just running it into the ground till you can't do nothing else.
There's tension, but it's a really thrilling experience.
When I say Mickey Thompson's name, what comes to mind?
Racing. I enjoy Mickey. I look forward to seeing the cars that he drives. They're fascinating. They're unique, and he's just he's a real important person, I feel, in off-road racing's beginning. And I'm really glad that he sort of got into this type of thing. And I always look for Mickey.
Mickey Thompson, you're responsible for all this. 35, 40 different races in Baja. It's a lot of work for people to get down there and get a good vantage point. So you brought Baja racing to them. What made you think you could bring Baja to stadiums?
Well, actually, it's really a short story. In 1973, was racing with Pernelli Jones, and we had the damnedest race that anybody's ever had for about 100 miles. And we ran at each other, and he finally flipped his car and uprighted it, and we banged fenders for, I'd guess, at least 100 miles. And the only people that ever saw it was the rattlesnakes and the jackrabbits. And during that time, I thought, you know, people aren't going to believe this. Someday, I'm going to bring this type of racing inside a beautiful stadium like the San Diego Stadium.
The place Mickey Thompson chose for this auto racing experiment was a place with a tradition of the Olympics behind it, the Los Angeles Coliseum. In 1979, he convinced the Coliseum commissioners he could build a track inside the Coliseum and stage a race that would be safe and exciting. It was the first ever off-road Grand Prix championship event held in a stadium that was not designed for racing.
So what you and Parnelli had so much fun doing, now people will be able to come into a stadium and enjoy the comfort of a nice seat and watch and enjoy it just like you wish they could have when you and Parnelli were banging away in Baja.
Absolutely, and that's men, women, and children. It's not just a man's sport now. I mean, you know, we race all types of vehicles. I mean, just not the pickup trucks and the single-seaters, but we race the ATVs, 3- and 4-wheelers. We race little Odysseys. And I'll make a prediction, Ben, within the next 2 or 3 years, once the people come inside and see this presented as a family sport, you're going to see a huge influx of people coming to see off-road racing. We have hardcore racers. I mean, we have people like Roger Mears, Ivan Ironman Stewart, and we have some of the greatest and best drivers in the world, our rally drivers, racing here with us.
Let's talk a little bit more about the stadium. As a football player, I'm a little worried about the grass underneath there, Mickey.
Well, you should be, but we really work on that. Actually, the grass has all been taken out, and we have 2 sheets of plywood, and we have kinds of plastic material, and they protect it. We make sure that it doesn't get contaminated in any way, and then we come back, pull all this dirt off, and there's 300 truckloads of dirt in here. And we come back and resod it. It costs about $40,000 to put the grass back in, and it's about $125,000 just to put the track in that you see here today.
Let's talk about these things we're sitting on. Mickey, you developed these. Tell us a little bit about your inventions here.
Well, we call them hydro barriers, Ben. Instead of using the cement concrete barriers like they have in the middle of freeways, which are actually dangerous when a car hits it, you can see they climb the walls and get upside down. Well, we didn't want to hit it with race cars. So this is made of actually polyethylene. They weigh about 100 pounds apiece, and they're filled with water. There's about 1,300 pounds of water in here. When a car hits it, it impacts it, and it doesn't hurt the car. And we move the barriers, and people don't get hurt. And I think eventually, in the not too distant future, DuPont's been helping us a lot in this thing, and I think you'll see these in a free race taking the place of concrete barriers.
And they're all connected. Each one's got a hinge, so to speak, down between them. And
right. They're all coupled. There's actually a pipe that goes down here, and if we want, and later on, we'll build this up here this high, and then we'll put rails so the cars can't go over the fence. They contact the soft water barrier here, and then so they won't go to the fence. Why we'll put different kinds of rails, so we can stack any kind of rail or make any kind of safety barricade we want. So it's a real safe thing, and the drivers really love it. In fact, they try to put hay bales up and stuff like that, or tires. This goes right through a hay bale. So this is actually the way it has to be done inside of a stadium like this.
And you've specially developed these so you can take your show to stadiums anywhere in the country and pack them inside the moving vans. And
that's right. It takes 5 moving vans to move this. It takes 11 men. You see right now working the stadium over 50 men. It takes all week long to build the barricades, and we only race 3 hours on it.
Thompson presents the Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. From Los Angeles, California, right in the shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains, here it is at the Los Angeles Coliseum, one of the wildest motorsports events ever. Hello, and welcome to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. We're here for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. I'm Bruce Flanders, and along with me to call the action, Larry Huffman.
Bruce, you think of the LA Memorial Coliseum, you think of the 1932 and 84 Olympics, and of course, the Coliseum is the home of the Los Angeles Raiders, and it's a wild place.
But there's no football going to be played here tonight. They've really made some modifications to this facility.
A lot of modifications. Mickey Thompson's built a man-made dirt battlegrounds of high-speed straightaways and humongous jumps, and he's got the top off-road riders and drivers in the world here tonight.
Hundreds of truckloads of dirt to transform the whole look of the place. And right now, let's all go for a lap around the course.
Let's take that lap with Mazda driver Glenn Harris in his factory Grand National Mazda truck. The course is a half-mile long, 6 turns and 5 major jumps. Down that front straightaway and bumping the rear of Rod Millen, the other Team Mazda driver. Then into a left-hand hairpin, which funnels the trucks into a space wide enough for only 2. A right-hand turn out of that hairpin and heading for the world-famous peristyle, a unique part of this Coliseum course. The drivers go up 70 feet to the peristyle, the top of the peristyle, and then the peristyle loop, which is unique in that the trucks go out of the spectator's view. Then back to the top of the peristyle and 70 feet free-falling to the bottom of the peristyle, the floor of the Coliseum. At the bottom, a sharp right-hand switchback turn through some rough hoop-to-doos, and they set up for the fastest part of the course. The back straightaway. The trucks will be heading close to 70 miles an hour with a couple of jumps thrown in just to make it interesting. At the end of the back straightaway, a very difficult and dangerous washboard section, and then a left-hand sprint car type sweeper. Then back up to around 65 miles an hour and over the finish line jump. And that's a lap of the Coliseum course.
We're coming right back with Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race #1 right after this. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Earlier this evening, Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race #1 ran, and it was a dandy to say the least. The lineup looked like this just before they took the green flag. On the pole, Danny Thompson in a Chevrolet. Next to him, Sherman Balch in a Nissan. Second row, Walker Evans in a Dodge. And number 5, Glenn Harris, whom we took that lap with in the factory Mazda. Third row, number 15, teammate Mazda, Rod Millen. Number 20, a privateer entry, Tom Halliburton, another Mazda. And then back on the 4th row, all by himself in number 12, Spencer Lowe in a Nissan.
Earlier today, Bruce had a chance to talk with Danny Thompson, the son of Mickey Thompson.
With me now, the only Chevrolet truck driver in this whole field. And Danny Thompson, that's kind of a tough assignment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're working against the Toyota factories and the Nissans and the Mazdas, and they've all been out here for a couple of years doing all their research and development work, and they're pretty far ahead of us. But I think this is our second race, and we're starting to work pretty good, and I think if we keep everything going in the right direction tonight, we'll have a pretty good chance.
Danny Thompson had teething problems with his Chevy truck last month at the Rose Bowl in his last race. Power steering, and then he actually rolled the truck. which is pretty serious teething problems, Bruce Flanders.
Oh, it is. Anytime you get him upside down. Watch for the green, and here it comes. Thompson apparently gets a heck of a start, and that Chevrolet making a lot of horsepower for him, gets well out in front, but watch that battle behind him, Larry.
A tremendous battle as Glenn Harris in the factory Mazda goes in front of Sherman Balch into second spot, and then around the hairpin, there goes Balch on the inside, and he just forces his way through.
And Walker Evans back in the fourth place spot gets rearranged just a little bit. The sheet metal changing its shape on these trucks as we come through the peristyle end and out of the sight line of the spectators and ready for that free fall back into the Coliseum.
Danny Thompson, factory Chevrolet, flying through the air with the greatest of ease. He's got a lot of experience. He's raced off-road, sprint cars, Formula Atlantic, Super B, and he's a tough young cookie from Costa Mesa, California. But Sherman Balch right on his back tire.
Well, that Nissan, the red, white, and blue, and the number 10 on board out of Fremont, he was a winner when they ran down in San Diego at Jack Murphy Stadium. But through this rough section, it looks as though Thompson's Chevrolet getting through there smoother than anybody else. Whoa, especially smoother than number 15, Rod Millen.
I'll tell you, Thompson's got a lot of power, Bruce. He's putting it to the ground, getting through the rough sections and flying over those jumps beautifully. Sherman Balch, the factory Nissan, trying to move up on him. And that number 10 and number 5 is Glenn Harris in third spot. But it is Danny Thompson's race all the way now.
Well, as we look back on it, remember that second place and third place have both been winners in main events in major stadiums already this season, and Thompson has yet to put together his first win even in a heat race like this one.
Danny Thompson out of Costa Mesa in the Chevy, the X-Side Battery Chevrolet out in front. Look at him go through the rough stuff. You're absolutely right. He is going through that washboard section a lot better than the Mazda Nissan. Holy Toledo! Look at Walker Evans.
Walker Evans having a handful with his Dodge, but he's still in a good transfer spot into the main event. We'll see if the Dodge can make its appearance later on this evening. And up on two wheels, a little bicycle move right there by Sherman Balch, and some smoke now, which actually we're looking back at this so we can tell you that's power steering fluid leaking off onto the headers on number 5, Glenn Harris's Mazda.
They're sideways down that front straightaway. This is heat number 1 action. Remember now, Danny Thompson, yellow Chevrolet in front, right behind him on a factory Nissan that's reputed to cost around $160,000 is Sherman Balch. Nose to tail as they head for the peristyle once again, and we're in the last lap action of this first heat race at the Coliseum.
Up the climb one more time with 3 different optional windows or portals to go through as they exit the facility, but only one single narrow line to come back into it, and what a fly back in onto the floor of the Coliseum.
The drivers told me earlier, Bruce, they come off that peristyle jump, they see nothing but blackness, darkness as they head down. They hope that there's nobody crossed up beneath and stalled. On the back straightaway is still Danny Thompson the final lap, and Sherman Balch just can't get that Nissan close to him.
Both of them looking for that transfer to the main, and also fighting right now for the better starting positions in the main event, and Sherman Balch will not give up. And the Chevrolet is putting down lots of horsepower. As Larry said, checkered flag, Danny Thompson wins heat race number 1. Sherman Balch ends up second, and the third place spot going to number 15, Rod Millen out of New Zealand.
Danny Thompson dominating heat number 1. Bruce, what do you think was the key?
Larry, it had to be the way the truck covered the rough terrain. It really went over it smoothly, plus the amount of torque that engine was putting out.
Putting out a lot of high speed. Danny Thompson in that V6 Chevrolet-powered truck. Looked awfully good in heat number 1. Let's go on with a Goodyear victory stand and a very happy Danny Thompson and Sandy Reed. Sandy?
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Danny Thompson. What a beautiful job. Into the winner's circle with Chevrolet, Danny.
All right, thank you very much. The Chevrolet performed really well. This is only our second race, and the thing's really starting to work good, so we're happy for X-Side and Chevrolet both. Thank you very much.
Did you make any special changes in it at all?
We've just been struggling with teething problems during the whole week, being that it's a new truck and everything, and it looks like everything's finally starting to come together, and the crew and I are all very happy.
Well, I don't think you're the only one that's happy. I think this crowd is happy over Chevrolet. How about it? Let's hear it for Danny Thompson.
Thank you.